comfortable now.
Yeah, you take your mic off now.
I need a comfort break.
72% of you are with Rogue. This is one of their go-to maps, but Chiefs, as we saw earlier on today, can occasionally pop their head above the parapet and cause a bit of an upset. Let's see how it goes down in the banning phase, with Chiefs kicking things off with their attacker ban.
We're coming in any second now. It's going to be Hibana. No surprises there on Clubhouse. We know how important the hatchers are. So that's going to be the Hatch Queen gone by the wayside. Not going to be picked up. And the second attacker picked very quickly by Rogue. We see the timer drop down. And no surprises why it was picked quickly. It's going to be Thatcher.
Absolutely no surprises at all. Hibana, a hard breach ban on this map, definitely far away from being unfamiliar. I think since we saw Ace get added into the game, and obviously before him Maverick, they were a lot more hotly contested bans. Like, if you ban 1 or 2 away, suddenly the game became incredibly tough. Whereas with 4 on the table these days, it's a little bit of a different story, especially when you also consider that a number of operators now have 2 hard breach gadgets. I forget the team that did it. I want to say it was Rogue, but I think it was someone else. They brought along 2 operators with hard breach gadgets rather than any hard breaches at all. It was really interesting. Buck and Zero were their go-to picks. It could have been Oxygen, actually. I forget. I digress. It doesn't matter. The bans are done, and we are going into game, ladies and gentlemen. Rogue start things off on the attacking side, so it could be a great start for Chiefs. And you and I were joking yesterday about the number of fishing-related puns we can pull off because of Fisher Guy. We finally get our game.
Got the opportunity.
Hook, line and sinker.
Hook, line and sinker. Yeah, you know, Chiefs, they had a great result earlier.
Just popped ahead in from the side like, no.
Having absolutely none of it.
Absolutely none of this crap today, no.
Well, unfortunately, doesn't get to decide what goes on in this game.
Can we just touch on for a second how fantastic she's looked this event?
11 out of 10.
I think I offended her earlier. I said to her, you look like a schoolgirl. And she's like, schoolgirl? I wasn't going for that look. I was going for the kind of like maid mistress wife kind of vibe. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to get the assumption wrong on the outfit.
Whatever look she was going for, Des, she's absolutely nailed it, is what I will say.
Also, I mean, Hap's going as IKEA, so it's a blend today.
He came in, he was so excited. Hap came in and he was like, look at my tie, Ace, look at my tie. I've got my Sweden outfit on for today.
Did you know on the back of his shirt it says IKEA Warrington?
He was, he was so excited.
I have no idea what he just said, but we'll pretend we heard him and acknowledge him. Yes, Hap, we love you too. Enough digressing. Let's get on with the game and see how the setup's going to play out in round number 1. We are indeed defending on the downstairs in Church and Arsenal. And it's not quite a usual SSG roam. You know, the Mute, the Mozzie, the Vigil, the Castle, the 4 operators that are very much the hallmark of that go-to strategy, because there is no Mozzie. There is still a Mute. But clearly more stock is being placed into a little bit of sight help by the looks of it as well. They want the Alibi. They want the Malusi on side with those Banshees to slow down any potential rushes to what would be the site, but it's still going to be an extension throughout the map. On the other side, Rips on that Flores. We saw it banned away in our game on Group B between BDS and NIP just a moment ago. You're really going to see it come into its own on this map once gadgets start getting knocked over for fun.
Certainly will. The Chiefs have had a lot of support behind them, not just from our ANZ side as well. You know, we've obviously got all our fellow casters over that side behind them, looking to cheer them on. But I've seen, I think it was God Legion's mother on Twitter as well.
Yeah.
Full support, jersey on, absolutely everything. I love to see it. I love to see it. We've got, you know, quite a few Siege parents that are involved out there that are, you know, always backing the children up on socials and cheering them along, and it's great to see.
Absolutely it is. Prano's found his way inside of Dirt here and looking to step his way forwards, but being patient for now whilst the rest of Rogue get themselves set up on different areas around the map. Many a time we have seen a player die on the sword or the shotgun in this particular case. There's 2 of them starting to push their way through. Fisher Guy hanging out on the top floor, not quite taking the bait though, hanging back a little bit further from that grenade and should be able to waste a bit more time.
2 from Rogue just trying to move their way down Dirt Tunnel, and I'm just a little bit concerned for Chiefs here, Des. I don't know how much of a handle they've actually got on those players. We're about to find out. Leon's got himself inside a sight, and this could be a quick one if Rogue managed to push in. Aces, Leon, they get the kills. God Legion traded out in there. 4 versus 2 now as Prano starts to get that diffuser down, and this is going to be a quick round from Rogue. It's now 2 versus 4. Worthy and Fisher Guy. Of course, we saw Worthy pick up a 1 versus 3 earlier on today. We know that he's got it in his locker, but this is just going to be a little bit of a different challenge for him here.
This is the thing, Rogue are so good at these lightning pace executes, and they pulled it off wonderfully. Worthy, is he worthy of the clutch? Is he worthy of the praise that we might be looking to pile on? And here, Fisher Guy is trying to cast out the rod, see what he can find, but Leon bites back. It's a piranha downstairs, and he's staring into the fish tank. Nothing else to be taken back. Pushing his way down main, trying to see what he can bite off, but it might be a bit more than he can chew. Rogue taking round one with an emphatic attack, and that is the Rogue that we love in EUL.
I love that you mentioned the fishing puns at the beginning of the game, and then you've not gone gently with it. Not taken one opportunity. You've just thrown everything at the wall in round one, and let's see what sticks.
It's death by exaggeration, right? Like, now you've got to get creative and think of some good ones for the rest of the
That's it. You've just burnt up all of the easy ones.
Oh, no. There's plenty more to come. Plenty more.
I'm sure that we'll find one or two as this one continues, as I'm sure Rogue are likely to find one or two more rounds as this one continues. Chiefs, they're going to have to get on the game. They're going to have to get on it quick because Rogue have just taken round one in a very nice attack. Very Rogue-esque attack. Getting aggressive, getting in there, finding kills, prano plants. That is the Rogue that we have seen over stage 3 of EUL.
Absolutely. I mean, again, if they see that coming 2 or 3 rounds in a row, Rogue will be unstoppable. They'll just keep on barreling through their opponents. But for Chiefs, again, I don't want to write them out of this game anytime soon. We've seen that they can fight in. We said if they come on to win this game, this group becomes ridiculously spicy. Rogue sure are sat at the top right now, but Chiefs are miles behind. I believe they're sat on 4 points. It goes 7-5 and 4. Chiefs are far from out of this. They have the hope of APAC South on their shoulders as well. That, of course, is the one that we're excited to see remain in, because the dream for everyone, I think, is that you get 2 teams per region out of groups.
Oh, yeah. You're
not going to happen, because NA are all going home on Thursday. We know that. 1-13, are they on?
It's not looking good so far. I think we're just going to have a rehost in this game. Leon's just called for it in the chat there. I'm not sure what the problem is. I see what the problem is now. We've had somebody leave the game. But we will obviously came out yesterday, and I think probably felt like they'd not really, necessarily played their best Siege, but ultimately they got 2 wins. They're at the top of the table. If that's them not playing their best Siege, then what are they going to look like if they do start playing it?
That's the problem. If they keep on warming into this event the same way that NIP have piece by piece, there is going to be a lot to be excited about. We're back into game though. Round 2 is going to be Cash and CCTV defense coming out for Chiefs. In terms of the lineup, it's looking pretty standard. Maybe you look towards the bandit tricking and say we haven't seen that one for quite a while, or the potential laser gates coming in too. No doubt there'll be several options here, but the Wamai and the Jaeger I look to, and it immediately screams to me that you are going to see a garage hole coming in.
You would expect so. Looking to deal with plenty of throwable utility there. So you would expect, as you say, somebody on that catwalk looking to challenge anybody that tries to get themselves into the bottom of it. We saw Vertical do some real damage to Chiefs here in the game earlier on. So, you know, I'm sure they're going to be looking to sort of emulate, to replicate that. We've got Ethan on the Bandit. We'll see exactly where he's going to play, whether he will play on that East Breach for the Bandit trick or not. Not something that we see too much of anymore, but with Prano on the Thermite and Aces on the Ace, as well as Rips on the Flores, I would be surprised if they struggle to deal with that. Although 2 Selma charges used on Garage does limit the way that they can maybe look at that hard breach on the East wall.
I think it's quite interesting as well that no bandit charges were committed in towards Garage. Like, whoa, what is this? This is nice and early. Worthy, nice and ready, finds Leon pushing his way into storage. A good start coming in for Chiefs and removes some of the aggression. But Crying, he's down below, finds himself yet another. Storage is now in their control, and maybe Red is going to be their point of entry.
Certainly it looks that way, 4 versus 4 after a very busy first minute there, and I think that's good for Chiefs because it really sends a message, Des, to Rogue that you can't just keep pushing into the map in the first 30-40 seconds of every round and thinking that you're going to get away with it. You're going to have to make sure that you're doing your droning, you're going to have to make sure that your basics are in place because we're going to surprise you, we're going to hit you on the roam, and that might just slow them down a little bit. We might see, if the sort of aggression continues from Rogue, 1 or 2 trap operators coming along potentially. We might have the Malusi, the Legion bro. Chiefs not diving that deep in just yet, instead using themselves a nice opening kill to slow Rogue down.
It's a slower start after the initial entry explosion came through from either side. You know, the kill being traded back and forth. He is looking to remove away the gadgets that are set in. It will be the mute jammers placed on those walls, so it has burned through a good half of the round. Not a bad outcome for Chiefs. Rogue starting to think about what the push is going to be here. They've got themselves pushing into Garage. They've got the CC breach. It's this south and east attack that we are so used to seeing, especially back in the old days of this map. I think since the changes came through to the map ever so slightly, less teams have gone towards a push on the Cash side. Prano with a great little crossfire coming in. Gets swung out, aiming a little bit high there. Ethan trading it back at 3 versus 3 with 60 seconds to play.
I love that from Ethan, getting nice and aggressive, stepping out in front of that East breach and just cutting Prano down where he stands.
That is an Aces special. Aces will swing that breach every day of the week, and Ethan's saying, hey, there's more than 2 ace players in this game. Let's see what more can step up. Those 2 on the breach. One currently, the Flores, sat inside a garage. And look how defensive the members of Chiefs have been. They're dug all the way back in here, sat inside a construction. None of them really wanted to step forward, and now they're really stuck because they can hold the cross.
Fisher Guy is going to go down to Rips, and the diffuser is now in place, so Rogue have managed to recover from that little bit of a jab that Chiefs had, where Ethan was able to drop Prano and the diffuser on the half roof there, but everything in place now for Rogue, except time. There's 13 seconds left to go. Rips is going to have to stick this. Ethan's underneath. He's got the nitro. He's got the kill. They have no option but to run in and try again. That's exactly what Aces is going to do. He's likely to make this now. Cryan is on the cover. Important that he gets the kills, and he does. One to the right, one to the left. No stopping Cryan, no stopping Rogue. 2-0.
That could not have gone any better for Cryan at the
I'm done with you.
I was building up for that entire round. That was incredible. It genuinely couldn't have gone any better for Cryan there in that 1 versus 2. And I say 1 versus 2, yes, there were 2 alive, but of course, Aces was getting the plant down. It becomes a glorified 1 versus 2 for 7 seconds there, and he's played it perfectly. Maybe not so perfect by Chiefs, the timing on it a little bit off. The pre-fire came in on towards red rather than towards where the default plant spot was, and that was all the indication Cryan needed to close things out. Wonderful start for Rogue. 2-0 up.
Very, very good so far. We expect Rogue to be good on the attack. The questions that I've got for Rogue are coming in the second half when they get onto the defense. That's where we've seen them struggle, and that's where they're going to have to develop. That's where they're going to have to make changes if they want to go to the semi-finals or above, Des. That's the reality. They're going to have to improve that game, because once they get into best of 3s against the better teams in this tournament, they're going to start getting punished if they can't get those defenses locked down. So very important that we see a good second half, whatever happens on the attack here from Rogue.
And look at the change that comes in straight away as well. You're seeing a very defensive sort of, I don't want to say passive setup, but it looks that way when you look at the operator lineup. You've still got Fisher Guy playing on site, you've got Worthy playing upstairs here. So there is a little bit of movement going on, but it's definitely nowhere near as committed to their own game as what they were in the prior round. Worthy, the only player currently sitting off site.
So it's going to be back down to the basement, as you say, just a little bit more committed to the site this time. They did get caught out without having that presence in blue. This time God Legion's going to be down there on the Jaeger. Ethan heading off towards dirt. They're not going to allow themselves to be caught out like they were last time by the aggression of Rogue. I don't think that's what we're going to see from Rogue. You can see this time they're getting themselves into that top floor. They'll recognise quickly that there's nobody there, and they'll know that they have to go back to the basics. They have to get the clear, they have to get the map control, and they need to start opening those hatches.
Absolutely. Prano in nice and quick here, pushing his way in towards storage. 2 of them, in fact, looking to push in from that direction. Starting to work their way in, get hatches opened up. Cryan's on the top floor here, just not really drawing the way in, but he said, you know what, let's just blind fire everything. Let's just walk around a corner and spray and hope that someone's there. What I am very admirable of in terms of Rogue's attack so far is 60 seconds in, they're getting soft destruction opened up. Hatches are being cleared out. They have dealt with those mute jammers that were scattered across the top floor incredibly quickly. They're going to have so much time to think about the execute here. And for the side of Chiefs, well, still looking for that elusive first round.
Looking for an elusive first kill here are Rogue, as they're trying to find the man down in blue. Leon is just going to hold his angle for the time being. He knows that God Legion's going to be playing down there. He may well have a drone on him, he may not, but he will expect that it's going to be held down, especially after he was able to walk in there for free last time around. Rips, he's just moving around that mid-floor at a speed that tells me that Rogue are pretty confident that they've got the map control now, which they have. All of Chiefs are back on site, and they are locked in for the remainder. There's a lot of time available here, Des, when you've got Rogue at the bottom of main stairs, 1 minute 10 left to go, and they are starting to open up Church Wall. That is a lot of time. Now then, the Impact Nade is going to clear out the Selma charge, though, so that'll keep that triple wall locked down for now.
They've got no Selmas left. They've gone through all of them there in one rotation, not respecting the fact that you might see this impact trick coming out. They've got 3 remaining, and Prano's got no exothermics. The wall stays closed. That is a dreamy situation for Chiefs, and a little bit of a, not so much disrespect, but not respecting the situation, I think, on the side of Rogue. They're going to have to push in and just make this one work with a very dry standard push. Not able to get anything opened up. This is dream territory coming in for Chiefs as long as they can find the kills. 2 go the way of Rogue. There are 2 coming back. God Legion living up to his name. A 2 versus 3 sets in. Rogue have got 25 seconds.
Plant is going down. Prano's going to look to stick this one on the Thermite. He's in a default spot there. Will be successful. 3 versus 2 though for Chiefs. Ethan gets in, gets 1. Prano manages in a 1 versus 3 to get the first, get the second. Can he get the third? He's had to go to pistol, Des, and he loses it based on his ammo count. He just can't be competitive in that fight. Ethan finds the kill, will disable the diffuser, and that was very close to a 1v3 for Prano.
Very, very close, but it's official, Ace. They've finally got a round on the board. They're fighting their way back in, and it's not going to be a clear-cut game for Rogue. 2-1 is how it stands, and Chiefs finally finding a way in.
It was a very efficient retake coming in from Chiefs there. See, I can join in as well, Des.
Christ's sake, Ace, can we just stop with the jokes already and focus on the game? Let's have a see how round number 4 plays out. It's going to be Cash and CC for round 4. That Bandit sticking true once more. It's the similar setup, well, basically identical unless there's a change away, and it will be there, the Valkyrie, which of course made it through the ban phase. We haven't really seen that brought out yet. And I'm always curious when I see things like a Valkyrie or an Echo. In subsequent rounds, do the attackers start bringing an IQ? Do they say, you know what, we can deal with it? Often teams can't deal with it. There are always places, such cheeky, precarious places that people, they don't look for the obvious, as obvious as they might be to some teams. So who knows? We'll see where they go down from Ethan. We'll see what impact they can have on this round.
Valkyrie can be impactful on any map. I'd say Clubhouse generally is one that we see a little bit less use for her, even if she's available. But brought along gear from Ethan, and we know that there's going to be real opportunities for those cameras inside of the map. Particularly, I mean, they're missing the cameras that they're against there. Crying just able to watch that one going in and out of stock there. But they've got a nice little cam there inside of top of blue stairs. There's, always the potential. If they were down in Church and Arsenal, I think, there's a couple of cams there. Obviously, they can't go there because they've just successfully defended, but there's a couple of nice cams that you can put in kitchen, places like that. Here, maybe one in construction might be of use to them, so they know whether the push is coming in there or not. I think that's exactly... Is it? No. Ethan's gone through. I was going to say I think that's where he was heading at that point in time, but he's going to dip away just to see if he can get himself a nice view onto the outside.
Indeed they can. As it starts, nothing too explosive happening. We saw earlier on the vaults, for example, inside of storage, leading to very early exchanges coming in for either side. The focus on the wall is getting it opened up. No denial coming in means it will be nice and quick. And those laser gates will have to chew through a little bit of utility, easily reactivated. So for Rogue, you don't want to pop those off too early. It offers extra cover to Digital, who's got the 2 laser gates, got ADSs set around him, got magnets scattered around. It is going to be very difficult to unseat him with the limited throwing utility that Rogue actually have. There's no flashbangs. They've got 4 frags, 2 smokes, well, now 3 frags. I think he'll be pretty safe there, and he shouldn't be moved away.
Can't be moved away, really, for the time being at least. He has to hold on to this position. He's just trying to challenge onto that single door should anybody try to push in. They're just going to use the ping there to show where the utility is, see if Crying can get his shots through. Yes, he can. Just see him dipping far enough back. The reason that Crying is doing that and taking that from such a long angle is because he doesn't want to get challenged by Digital on that door. Worthy manages to find a kill onto Leon. Great opener there. Prano onto Fisher Guy, but Worthy gets himself a second in the round, and this is back and forth. It's 3 versus 3 right now, as Rogue have got garage control. They should have most of what they need, if not all, but that is a big mistake. There's the Selma charge being eaten up by the magnets.
It's happened again where they just haven't respected that things can impede them. The impact trick in last round, the magnets that have been scattered across that wall the entire round. It's going to stop the Selma going off. It's going to stop the wall being opened up. They're going to have to push in through the left side, which can be challenged by Worthy at long range here. That makes me nervous for Rogue. Small things like that don't seem like such a big deal, but my God, can they completely transform the outcome of a round.
Oh, at this level, it's absolutely the difference. You know, we talk about the fine margins all the time, and this is going to be an important position for Worthy to hold here. He's going well so far. 4 kills inside of the game, and he's hitting his shots, so he could be a big difference maker for Chiefs now. You can see how nervous Rogue are as they don't want to push forward, and here comes the pressure from Worthy. He's had to dip away from the fight for the time being. In comes a nade. Everything's being thrown at him to try and keep him away, but Ethan's below. They've already suffered to this. Out goes the Nitro. It gets a kill, but Rips and Aces get 2 of their own. Ethan has to make his way back up red. They knew where he was coming from. He just hit them with the Nitro. Aces moves.
Excited about the number of, variations of bar stage defenses that we might see coming out. We saw a number from, Na'Vi, Kavana, I think of, across an EUL. We've barely seen it so far at the major.
I really spoke about it this morning on the cast that I did with Blue. I spoke about bar on stage. We saw it, and I went through the process, particularly that Na'Vi hold, and how teams as attackers are being forced to plant on stage essentially, because the top floor hold is solid. You can have the Nitro from underneath, and really the area that defenders need to worry about is by those speakers on the stage, and got to have a plan in order to deal with that. But as you say, not too many teams bringing that defense out. I think we've just seen quite a lot of it in EUL, so we look at it and we think, yeah, got to bar on stage, but I think globally maybe teams aren't quite as comfortable with that side.
Absolutely. This one is a bit of a different thing, so we'll see an entirely different approach to attack coming out of Rogue. Worthy and Ethan, the 2 currently out on their own. They're the ones who've been having big success. Fisher Guy still fishing for kills at this point, 0 and 3. Digital the same, and God Legion is present, getting a kill or 2 along the way, but really it's been on those top 2 players to start getting Chiefs anything on the board, including the 1 round that they have found to date. Quite spread across this top floor. Worthy looking to greet Rogue on their entry in towards the east side. Welcome into Clubhouse, offer them a stiff drink or a stiff body or 2 in response.
Ace is just looking through that main lobby there, not going to catch anybody out, probably looking for potential rotations as defenders try to get themselves back to site. Chiefs, pretty standard setup here, looking to hold on to Cash and CCTV. Going to allow them to aggress onto the CCTV window later in the round if they can be successful in holding onto it. But Rogue will try to have something to say about that. We've already got Crying moving in on the sledge. He's looking to get aggressive here. He needs to be careful because part of that Cash wall has been opened up, and that's not always the case. He's cleared off the utility, which allows Prano to open up the east breach, and as we can see, Chiefs already being forced back really here, Des.
I mean, you're seeing the advantage of roaming here, right? We've taken 60 seconds to get a wall open where it's nowhere near the site. Just by the sheer presence of Ethan and Worthy out towards that side of the map, giving them something to think about, has slowed Rogue down a metric ton. They've now got control of CC, so from there they can look to play on the south balcony if so desired, making use of the bedroom and gym window, and Nade almost catching out Fisher Guys down to 100 HP and still able to hold firm for now. Realises that unfortunately that's not going to be his opening kill of the game. Instead, it's going to be a decoy.
Nice aggression from him onto that hatch. He's certainly holding Rogue at bay for the time being. You can see that Leon's just been a little bit tentative about approaching this hatch. He's already taken some damage from it, and Fisher Guy will continue to challenge that for the time being. Now, Digital, he's got himself a Nitro placed under that floor, so if Fisher Guy makes the call and lets him know that he's actually been forced out of there, or maybe takes a death and goes away, give it 20 seconds. How about that for the reverse angle fight as well? Prano down outside. Fisher Guy's absolutely controlling this round from Logistics at the minute, Des.
Weather in the storm for sure, no matter what Rogue throw at him, be it come hail or sunshine, they're dealing with it. So far it's been a couple of nades and a bunch of bullets, but nothing yet able to rip him to shreds. As he holds in this spot though, more and more drones being whittled down. Rogue have got 4 remaining on the table, and it feels like they've met their maker. They can't quite get through a key location they need, because the last thing you want is to just go and push directly into sight, as Ace is about to try and do. Worthy almost finding him out.
Worthy gets found out though as Rips cuts him down from the window, and that's exactly the angle that we talk about needing CCTV control for. It doesn't look like the Nitro is gonna go off. No, unsuccessful. Crying manages to keep himself away from it. Prano's in sight, he's getting the diffuser down, and they know now that they put it underneath. What a shot from Ethan though. Manages to get one, can't get any more, and that's another successful round from Rogue. Good patience from Rogue there, Des. It took them the best part of about a minute and a half to get inside of Logistics, but they just kept chipping away away at it, and they kept going. They shut down Fisher Guy eventually, and they got themselves established, and from there, it was a quick finish to the round.
Yeah, Fisher Guy doing a lot of work, to be fair, but once Rogue started pushing forward with confidence and sent 2 in, prepared to trade kill for it as well, that's where the success comes from. And I think across the major, we've seen a few teams that they have their entry players essentially pushing solo. They get picked up and it's like, guys, where's the trade? What are we gaining by having this player go in solo? And we criticized the team for it yesterday. I want to say it was Rogue on Shally, actually. We said, you know, Leon a little bit too far forwards, costing them a player for free, only for Cryin and Rich to push through just behind him and do it right. One of them did die, but they got the trade straight after. And I liked that we're seeing that composure from Rogue to not steamroll you in and try and do your best. They're taking their time. They're using it well, admittedly putting it down to about 30 seconds or so. But no matter which way you paint it, they are 4-1 up on the attack. This is a prolific first half by any measure.
It certainly is. You know, they 4-1 up, Des, and they look good for it. Like I said yesterday, you got a feeling that Rogue came away thinking they'd maybe not played their best Siege, but they'd still got the results. Today, I think they're going to be feeling pretty happy with the performance because they are looking sharp here, and they're taking Chiefs to task, as it were, and really making life difficult for them. Now then, it's going to be the final defense for Chiefs here. They're going to be back down in Church and Arsenal. Rogue have been able to successfully attack this once back in round 1, but in round 3 Chiefs were able to get the win here. They played a much more turtle defense than they did in round 1. They were able to lock down their angles, and they were able to make Rogue's life very difficult. It looks like that is going to be much the same play here. We can see all the defenders are down on that basement level, so it's just about how quickly Rogue recognise that and get in and start doing that work. Rogue need to be careful. You pointed it out, Des, with things like the basics. They can't be giving up those Selma charges to those impact tricks too much. They need to make sure that they're getting the walls open.
Absolutely. I do like that we're seeing that hard breach coming in just in case they need the extra backup. They've seen them mess it up twice before, so want to bring even more firepower if things aren't going the way that you planned. Leon onto a bit of a different operator in the Capitale. I have been a massive fan of Capitale for the longest time as well. I think having the 2 firebolts you've got with the widespread they have, plus smokes, ridiculously powerful operator already. Then give him a relatively decent gun and make it a 3-speed. God, like, why wouldn't you want to pick it? And I think with the rise in Wamai bans we've seen, I know it isn't banned here and it is in effect, but teams like G2 have banned away with things like the Wamai and brought along Capitale because you know that you are going to very freely burn through things like a garage hold. It's just incredibly effective no matter whether you're trying to clear out a roamer and force someone to run, whether you're trying to execute with the smokes. It just gives you so many options.
It should give them a nice option to deal with God Legion down in blue should they choose to do so, using those asphyxiation arrows. Just burn him out of there. Don't allow him to stay in behind.
Did they rename those?
Generator.
Just a firebolts?
Fireball.
I think asphyxiation confused people.
Do you think? The fire arrows.
It is a very, very fancy way of saying can't breathe.
It is. So Leon, he's going to be looking. He's got himself back up to the top of blue stairs. He used that hard breach gadget to get the hatch open, and as you say, that just allows now Aces to have a bit more flexibility with those Selma charges, Prano, a couple of exothermic charges as well, so Rogue shouldn't really be worrying too much about that hard breach utility. Cryin, trying to find his vertical angles. You sort of feel like Rogue are at step 4 out of 5 here, Des. They're ready to push. They've got the angles they need. They need to start finding kills now.
They haven't got the information either as well. Down to 2 drones at this point, and sure, many would say, well, we know where they are. We don't need drones. The thing is, players move, believe it or not. I believe actually it was G2 famously said, maybe it was even Pengu, who said information is only good for 5 seconds. By then, players have moved on. Things have changed. You need to be aware of that. Unfortunately, bouncing that grenade over the top, and they are trying to clear away the jammer on the other side, but feeling a little bit nervous about the prospects of being able to get away with that by the look of it. Only the 1 drone left to watch the flank for them. They need to do this now. It's do or die, 5 versus 5, and they've still got smoke canisters to shoot through.
Not an easy nade shot to make over the top, and it's not going to matter probably as Rips and Aces managed to go in and get Worthy and Digital. Prano thinking about getting that diffuser down, but all of a sudden kills just rain in. Leon, I don't know what has happened there, but it leaves us in a 2 versus 2. Prano getting diffuser down, Aces on the cover. He finds his man. Does he find the second? He snaps back to the door, but Fisher Guy manages to dip away. He gets him on the rotation, and Rogue close out what could have been a very difficult round. There was some craziness there with 20 seconds left to go, but they get the job done.
Leon, after their game yesterday, went on Twitter and very honestly, you know, fair play to him, said, we didn't deserve to win that game. I would say much the same about that round. They are in a 5 versus 5 with 20 seconds on the clock. They've got 3 smoke canisters still to be used against them. They have not got the main breach open because it's jammed and they haven't dealt with it in time. Everything in that round screams defenders should win. If you go and take a top down of that round before all the craziness kicked off, that should be a Chiefs round every day of the week. But this is the beauty of Siege, and I say it all the goddamn time. If you don't win your gunfights, you're not going to win rounds. Rogue get 2 out of seemingly nowhere and press on for the round win. They find themselves at 5-1. And you know what? Sometimes even the best teams in the world find themselves in attacking situations like that, where everything that could have gone wrong has gone wrong. You've got no drones, nothing is open, you've got no time, but you just make it work. They've pulled that out the bag.
That is the key there, Des. It's about being able to win those rounds.
Ergy time.
Those championship teams that come through and win at major events are the teams that can find a way. Rarely will it all go your way. Rarely will you just go in and win round after round after round. You're going to be challenged. You're going up against the best teams in the world. And when things don't stack up, you've got to be able to problem solve. You've got to be able to find a way around the roadblock. And that's exactly what Rogue did there. Well played to them. 5 versus 5. 5-1 on the scoreboard as we start the action phase of round 7. Chiefs going to be on the attack now. They brought Jackal along with Ethan because they recognise that they've got Aces on the Oryx and they've got Leon on the Vigil. There's going to be a roam presence for Rogue. Chiefs know they need to deal with it. The question is, will they?
Absolutely. There's a lot of work to be doing. Aces off charging around like a lunatic as he does on this top floor. The big boy can charge his way through a few walls whilst he's out on the roam. And look at the difference as well. I mean, I don't want to highlight one player, but Leon here is 1-5 as someone that's tried to play these more aggressive spots, and that was good knowledge from God Legion. Right place, right time, also the preparation, but also smart from Leon. If you're wondering why he took down both impacts, one was to break the door, one was to destroy what he expected to be a Claymore present from God Legion. It hadn't been placed at the time, and he would have found himself a freebie if not for God Legion being, dare I say, a little bit slow. Claymore wasn't down, was holding on the corner, for example. Unfortunate timing, but I like the idea.
Not the ideal start for Rogue on the defence here. As we said, coming in, it has been the defence where there are questions to be answered by Rogue. So they want to make sure that they get this one done as quickly as possible.
Drones already whittling down to just 5 left, by the way.
That's
We're only 60 seconds in.
Good play from Rogue. They're really shutting down that information game, picking them up. As you say, only 50% of that utility left available for Chiefs is going to leave them just a little bit short of information potentially, especially when you got Ripson crying out on the roam.
It's a really interesting roam because roaming on this map for most teams means the SSG roam. Mute Mozzie on the top floor, the Vigil supporting the ground floor, but Rogue are playing it quite differently. The attempted run out of Garage, they had Crying, sat at the top of Red Stairs, Rip supporting lower down towards Lounge and Bar, and even Ace is here, still charging his way forward. Another drone is taken out, and now Worthy is feeling a little bit nervous. Fisher Guy trying to poke his head in through dirt, finds himself taken down as well. A 4 versus 4 at least for now. I imagine Fisher Guy could get recovered, if not for Rips finishing him off in the first place.
I wasn't sure how aware Rogue were of that push coming down Dirt Tunnel, but then we just saw it. Prano smoked out that doorway, and it just told me they know that he's there, and this is going to be trouble for Chiefs, and trouble it was. Now then, they're going to have Digital downed as well. Maybe an opportunity to pick him up, but they know that they need to be careful because Aces is lurking. He's just going to try to use that player as bait. Now, if he knows that he's down, he's going to try and just get a nibble from anybody who wants to come in and pick him up, and he will get that kill. You know that it is what Aces does. It's his bread and butter. Chiefs just feel like they've stalled out a little bit here, Des. 30 seconds left to go. They need to come up with an idea.
They do. They've got to make this push happen forwards. There's one coming back, but it's a 1-for-1 trade coming out in the end. Rip sideswipes, finds one, can't find the head of the next. Finds himself dropped onto the ground. A 2 versus 2 is Digital still on the deck. Ethan finds one. It's basically a 2 versus 1. Aces and Prano against God Legion. Finding his stepping self in. Does he know where the man is? Can't see him behind the box. Now where's Aces on the recover? The thing is, I think he's got enough time here as well. All he's got to do is play the long game. Got the diffuser. Can try and go for a plant, but Aces can close this one out. They've got him on ping. It's the freest close of the round in the world. Rogue taking round 7, goes 6-1, and they are looking pretty fixated on being top in this group, Ace.
Absolutely. Like you say, it was a defense that there was a few cracks in, you know, that Chiefs could potentially have got through. They kept having those opportunities to come in and continue contesting. If Ethan and Digital weren't downed, then maybe things go a little bit differently. But Chiefs just unable to get that one over the line. And Rogue, they fought hard for it, and a well-deserved round going their way. 6-1 in the game now. They are starting to run away with things. Aces 12-1, Des. Aces has only died in 1 round out of 7.
We said coming into the major, and even in stage 3, you know, looking back at stage 2, he didn't have the best time. In fact, much of the last 12 months has been pretty rough for Aces. We said the time when he plays best is when he's happy. When you see him on camera and he's smiling, it's a pretty obvious thing, you know. You do things a lot better when you're happy. And I think in his mind now, if he's here enjoying himself, even Meepy said coming into this for us, this event is a bonus. Our objective this year was avoid relegation. We didn't want to get caught into a 9th or 10th place relegation fight again. They've avoided that. The major is a bonus. A lot of work being done by Bernie behind the scenes, the team psychologist as well, who's really helped them be a lot more positive in their aspect. They talk a lot more, I've been told by Meepy. And if ever you've watched EUL, you'll see them fist bumping the cameras at the end of the rounds. That's a ritual for positivity, to get them on the same side and make sure each round is a reset. And I think it's really starting to show in player performance. Not just that, but let's not also forget that Prano, as a new player, has come in. He's their IGL. A lot of that responsibility has been taken away from Aces so he can focus on his roam play, and you're seeing the results of that today. Blimey, Stream B's finding fun.
Certainly is sounding fun. Of course, FaZe playing out against Oxygen at the moment over on Stream B. And again, I've said it countless times, it's what I love about groups. We do the cast and then we come off and we catch up with what's been going on. And there's just absolute wall-to-wall action for 3 days.
I love how we come out of groups and you kind of through there, your hair's all frazzled, your shirt's half torn off, and everyone's standing there going, well, that was fun, weren't it?
We need the day off in between just to recover.
My God, I mean, my voice, if those of you can't tell, is already half going because of all the shouting in the last 24 hours. I guarantee it'll be well rested, but it just goes to show how exciting and how exhilarating groups are. Down 1 key top of Group D. No one expected that coming in. SSG maybe not making it through if things carry on the way they are. We just don't know at this stage, and that's what makes it so exciting. But in this round itself, you can see the Maverick getting to work on that East Breach, looking to get things opened up, and hopefully Fisher Guy's going to find it falling away very soon for them to pop it out very comfortably with God Legion, pulling out the impacts, pulling the wall open. Bada bee, bada bum. The breach is opened up and they can put their focus back in towards Garage.
Rogue doing a good job of containing the utility of Chiefs so far. We've seen the Rotero drones taken out. That one will successfully be able to open up the angle through the soft wall into Cash. Going to make it a little bit more difficult for the defenders to play that deep angle where they look to try and deny any plant attempt with the long-range utility from the smoke, for example. Going to have to be careful trying to do that now. Worthy just looking to get up on the rooftop and get himself an angle, but halfway through the round, no kills for Chiefs here. I feel like the first kill really needs to go in their direction, Des. If they give Rogue an opportunity and a man advantage here, I think Rogue are going to close this out here and now. They are absolutely merciless so far.
I mean, look at Cryan. He's off on main stairs at the other end of the map. He's basically in Narnia for all intents and purposes. They've got a couple hanging around construction. Prano on site, one more down just below him. They're not really feeling pressured right now. They're happy to play a little bit loose. Worthy got a bit of pressure in towards Garage, and I said that once that East Breach was open, their attention would likely move in towards Garage. No one's actually moved there yet. It's looking very samey. A nice bolt in. They've got the trade coming out, but look at the kills fly as orange is all you see in the kill feed. 3 kills go the way of Rogue. Chiefs in a 2 versus 3. They need to make this work. They find one onto Leon. Rips this down, but Crying with another big 2K to close the round. We saw it whilst the plant was going down previously. Rogue with a dominating 7-1 victory over the Chiefs.
Dominating certainly is the word there. There were bumps in the road for Rogue, but they always found a way around them, Des. I want to just give Cryan a little shout as well. We've seen